Welcome to Settlers of Catan't Even, where we talk about conspiracy theories, current events, and whatever else pops into our minds, all while playing one of our favorite games, Catan. I'm Ben, and I'll be the moderator for this week. Today our players are...
Maegan, Katie,
CJ,
Jasmine.
Today we are playing the Drought board. The same rules apply as the last episode for the Seafarers. However, if you forgot or are new, you can check down in the show notes for a brief explanation. So today we need how many victory points, everybody?
14.
14. And in this one, there are deserts spread across the main island, and grain is scarce. Fertile fields can be found on the neighboring small islands. So you get special victory points in this one, like the other Seafarers expansions, where you get an additional 2 victory points each time you get to a new island. And
I would love to start the game, but not everyone is ready.
My bad, I forgot to hit A.
Oh.
this time it wasn't me.
It's because Katie
That's
had to
only 'cause
start
you're
it so
not
she could get
playing.
the right color.
If I'm not
'cause
red-
If she's not red,
Yes.
we're starting over.
If I'm not red, I quit. I'm putting a computer in. I'm not playing Catan.
Well, then what you do is
laugh
you
if-
just keep
I-
starting till you're red. Oh, you're red.
Ah,
Look.
good.
How perfect.
No.
Well, she started.
Also, update, Jasmine changed her color to white.
Ooh.
So,
Are you relinquishing
changing
green
things
to
up.
me?
Yeah, potentially I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm
I'll be
just
green now.
spicing things up, trying out all the other colors.
Spice up your life.
Well, the ones that aren't taken, so.
Well,
All right,
I'm
who's
really
getting
sorry
to
for
go
everyone.
first?
It's Katie. It's me. I
Okay.
don't know. I did something.
What were you saying, Megan?
I was going to say, I'm really sorry for anyone who watches this video because I'm going to be panning around a lot because the board is bigger than the screen. Like, than the
Oh.
game field of
That's-
view.
Yeah.
Just part of the experience. I am kind of
It's quite
surprised,
Exactly.
though, that there's no way to zoom in and out. But,
You can zoom
you know. I think that
in,
there
like,
would
a
be.
little bit, but you
What?
can't really zoom out.
Hmm.
Like, you can, if you hit in on your right stick, it'll zoom in a little bit. But it's not that far in. I actually haven't seen the rest of the board, so goodbye.
Okay, so I have a
Splurge.
question for everyone playing. Ben, you don't
What's
get to
up?
answer.
Oh, okay.
When you like scroll down to where you have your pieces, and your card, is your card gray or is it your color?
It's great.
It's gray.
Oh.
It's always been gray.
Because
I think.
in the real Catan, it's your color. So I'm upset.
I was going to
Huh.
say, I think it's my color because my
'Cause
white
you are
gray
like that
is-
gray,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof, this board is no bueno.
Yeah, I don't.
I like that grain is scarce, and then the game had the audacity to put a 3 on that wheat.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them has
Yeah.
a 6, though.
True, and since I'm not playing, you should be able to roll a 6.
I don't know.
I don't know how true that'll be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose. I already know I'm gonna lose. This is terrible. I hate going first.
Yeah, it's much better going last.
It really is, because then you get to place all of your pieces. And when you go first, like I unfortunately had to do, you're just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Screw
Because
but
you have
how-
to like pre-pick out like 7 spots that you could potentially put down your last piece.
But there's not even 7 potential spots on this board.
No,
Basically.
I know. It's tragic.
How many times,
Very
though, have we
tragic.
started a game of Catan and you've said, I'm going to lose, and then you destroyed everybody?
That is
CJ.
a very fair point.
Like 2
You
times.
just now noticed what I did?
I did. I was messing around with audio stuff.
Mm. Mm.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the first time somebody has done that to another player, Megan.
Oh, no.
Mm.
The sad part is, it's not really sad, it's just part of the game, or this particular game, because there's so much more desert, like, we kind of have no choice but to,
And I love those teeny tiny
I guess,
islands.
group our stuff together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
At least there's an
Oh,
8 on that
no.
gold mine.
I don't know about this. You know, you say that, but how many of us are really going to get to that 8?
CJ, and that's it.
Maybe.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'll even attempt.
Yikes.
Goodness.
So what's everybody drinking today?
Well, I bet Katie and Maegan are drinking Panera coffee.
Wrong.
No way. And they almost got me today because I found a gift card in my wallet that has $8.50 on it. And I thought I should go to Panera. And I logged onto their website and it was this big banner and it was like, sign up for our coffee club. Don't pay until September. And then I remembered that that's like tomorrow. So.
Actually,
Tomorrow
false.
is
That's like
we're
a whole
July
nother month.
31st.
August.
Okay,
Okay, but-
I know. It's hyperbole. I'm exaggerating.
Can you
It's-
not sign
anyway.
up for it until we send you one of our links? Because if we send you one of our links, then we get free coffee through October or till October. So we're going to send you the link and then maybe you'll sign up for it and then maybe we'll get more free coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, but 5 people have to sign up with that link in order to get free coffee.
I thought it was 2. Never mind.
I thought it was 5.
Yikes.
One of us is
Wow.
not reading. Well, we're not drinking Panera coffee because we got our Panera earlier. We've had it twice today, like normal. We're drinking Starbucks.
Oh.
Ooh.
You know.
So wait. So you've had 2 Panera coffees and now you're drinking Starbucks. So this is your 3rd round of coffee. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, but Panera, we only get like regular drip coffee. So it's just like if I had made if I had done pour over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
even
that's
judging
perfectly
because
fine.
I'm
I was
on my
just wondering.
third
I'm not
coffee.
judging either because coffee, like,
Jasmine,
is sacred liquid.
Yes.
are you going to go?
It's
I'm
not
on
my turn.
my 3rd coffee, but my 3rd coffee is a decaf.
It's Katie's turn.
No, it's
No,
there's a little
it's-
red thing on the corner.
Definitely Jasmine's
It's definitely
turn.
Jasmine's turn.
Yeah.
Someone's
I
gonna
picked-
get kicked soon.
Oh,
I
wait.
picked my
Tell
It
us.
definitely says that it's Katie's turn. Look at this.
But wait,
Oh,
there's
no.
You see that
something
little red?
more important. Ben, can I see your mug again?
I thought this was the best conspiracy theory mug. Look at it. It says uncertain times, which is what we're living in, and then we've got this UFO and these little stars. Isn't that like
That's amazing.
the
I
best
love it.
mug you've ever seen?
Yes.
My roommate Meg purchased this for me, and she got one too from Daisy and Aster, which is this really cool online store. It's daisyandaster.com. Not sponsored, but hey, if anybody wants to sponsor us, let me know. But Daisy and Aster is really cool, and they're located in Vancouver, Washington, and they've got like mugs and stickers and shirts and stuff. But they all have this. They feature this like cool. It's almost like old tattoo pinup style art. It's really cool. But I thought this was my most
cool.
conspiracy theory mug.
I love
Yes.
it.
It's
I
quite
like
cute.
it.
So
My
Jasmine
cats are
Switch
screaming.
might say that it's Katie's turn, but my Switch says it's Jasmine's turn, and so does Katie's.
Yeah, so does mine.
Well,
Dang.
there's
not quite
literally
sure
nothing
how to
else that I can do
troubleshoot
on
that.
my game because it gave me my resources. It says I have 2 points, and it shows that it's Katie here, like it's her turn. So
Well, this is
I
going to
don't-
be
I
fun
don't know
then.
what more I can do.
I mean, we're going to have to quit and start over because it's not doing anything.
Yeah, maybe y'all should just go ahead and do that now.
Okay.
Go any farther.
It's weird. I wonder
And I
what
let in my cat who's screaming
Our cats are not screaming yet.
Yet.
yet. I spoke to Sydney last week in our last episode, and I haven't heard back from her. So tell her that I'm really offended.
Awkward.
She's being a brat right now.
When is she not?
Well, she's not always a brat. Normally she's really sweet because she's little and cute. While we're trying to get our game started, I received 56 pages of information about returning to work in the fall.
That's a bit excessive.
And I read it all. Well, most of it. And I feel a lot better about going back to work now, which is good.
Oh,
That is good. What made
that's
you
good.
feel better?
That's really good. That's really, really good.
there's a lot of they're doing a lot to make sure it's safe, which is nice because I was afraid that it was gonna be like real rough. But
Okay.
I don't know.
I just
Well-
tested my internet speeds. It says that I have extremely fast internet and my connections are good. So I'm not sure what else.
Yeah, I think everyone.
If anything on my end.
I just
so
accepted the
think I'm
game.
good.
I think everyone is going to be using PPE, and I think there's going to be a lot of cleaning constantly throughout the day. And they seem like they have a lot of stuff that they're putting in place to make sure everyone is safe, which I'm thankful for.
Meanwhile,
There are
I've
the
been told
islands.
that I should go between every class and clean classrooms, which is
What-
literally not my job.
What do you not
Okay.
do at your
I
job?
hate this board.
Well, it's funny you say that because I got assigned 3 new things today.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, interesting.
Well, some of them I'm pretty excited about. But one of them is going to
What
cause
are
me to be
they?
in a webinar on Tuesday all day. We should talk about it in the after show.
Yeah,
Oh, fun.
I'm down.
Okay.
My whole
Katie, it says on my game that it's your
Okay,
turn.
Yeah, it's my turn.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that
I
it's not glitching
I
again.
don't know what to do. This is troublesome.
It is troublesome.
Oh.
And because I'm going last, I'm not even going to look at the board.
That's
I
a good
don't-
strategy.
At least you didn't have to go first.
This is true.
That's where
I
I was
mean-
gonna go.
I don't know.
That's probably
don't-
where a lot of people were going to go.
Yeah, but like no one really needs that much clay. So,
I
I
don't know.
did.
well, I don't. I mean,
why does Jasmine need 3
I don't know why,
different
but
sheep
I feel like
options?
Maegan always gets good clay.
well,
No,
I don't know
I
why.
don't. But I like that you think that.
I'm on a clay on an 8 and a 9, so I feel like I should have a good chance to get lots of clay. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I wonder if when I cut this for the podcast version of this, if I'm even going to make it sound like we had to restart the board or if they'll never know.
Ooh, I think.
YouTube will know though.
That's
Well,
true.
I can probably
YouTube,
cut
yeah.
and splice actually YouTube a little bit since we had such a
that's
clean
fair.
start and break, except for right now where we talk about how I might just put a technical difficulties type thing up and then for like 2
With some
seconds and
little
then cut out.
fun elevator music.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine.
Did-
Most people, I think, find the technical difficulties a little bit comedic when they're watching things.
It's endearing.
I mean,
I
yeah.
enjoy it. I'm like, oh look, they're human. So
right.
Yes.
There's a person I watch play Animal Crossing, and I feel like her game is just always so perfect, and she always catches the fish she needs, and she always catches the bugs, and there's never any glitches, and the villagers are always doing cute things. And then I play, and my villager's like sitting on the beach picking his nose, like it just I don't know.
That's great.
You know, like my villagers are not always doing the cute things, and I don't ever catch the fish that I need, and I don't know. It's
I saw
because
this
my island's
video-
not complete.
No, it's not. I can't wait to nuke my island and start over and then come visit your
Ugh, it's
Tolkien
gonna
world.
be- It's so cute. 2 people got to see it last night. Two of our friends, and they were like, "It's so cute," and I'm like, "But it's not done yet. There's so much more that has to happen." So I'm ready for everyone to see it. Anyway,
Cat.
Yeah, and he's purring real loud.
why did you take the clay port?
Well, because you see, I'm on that 9.
yeah. Also, Megan loves the ports. She's
I
like a
heard
port.
Well,
Cat
she's
port
also trying to
queen.
get closer to the gold mines.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm on 2 clay, and I wanted to take the clay port.
Well, it's too late. I already did. So let's just keep playing.
what if I just said no?
Have y'all started
Well-
for real?
Yeah.
No.
No.
You haven't.
not.
Oh, no.
We're
I'm
still
We're still
Yes.
placing our pieces.
Placing-
Once your pieces are placed, I have
Lady.
a topic that I think is going
You
to take
lady.
a little bit of time to get through. So,
Ooh.
I'm excited. I want to be a believer. I mean,
I will
I
tell
think
you that out of everything we've talked about so far, this one is the most believable, but maybe that's just because
What?
it's the first roll
number
really a
one,
7.
and it's a 7.
Yes.
What an actual joke.
But no,
Well,
I think this one's the most believable, but maybe that's because I'm the one who did the research, so I've been
Maybe.
indoctrinated.
we officially started, so. you
Well,
know.
this is the first time, well, semi, that this topic was picked by a listener. Jasmine, do you want to give your friend a
Woohoo.
shout out? Who's the friend of the show?
Sure. My friend Mariana, she was one of our very first supporters before our first episode even came out. So thanks, Mariana, for all your support and this awesome time travel idea.
Yeah,
We're so
Mariana.
excited to learn about this.
Mariana
We
wanted
appreciate
to
your
talk
support.
about time travel, and when you go to research time travel, there's a lot. So I did some preliminary time. A 7, really?
I'm really good
I
at
did
7,
some-
so I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
I did
if
some
there's anything we
preliminary
learned
research.
from last game,
And through my preliminary research, I came across Project Pegasus. Who's heard of Project Pegasus?
Not
If we're
I.
referring to Marvel.
Okay,
Yes.
it's not Marvel, but, there are a lot of great resources about Marvel's Project Pegasus.
Nice.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know Project Pegasus was part of the Marvel world. I really don't pay attention to those
But
movies.
it is.
I believe
Well,
you. I don't.
I live in a rock, and I've never heard of it.
But why is it Project Pegasus? Why is it not Project Lucifer? They're both
Well,
horses.
because you already talked about Project Lucifer, and Project Lucifer killed the artist. So, okay, bear with
Anyway.
me. I'm going to explain to you what Project Pegasus is, because it's really 2 separate things.
So before we get too far in this, can I give a shout out to our patrons first?
Oh, yeah, we should have done that
Yeah.
before I rambled on.
That's okay. I just want to give a shout out to Synthia and KRVGN for being our first 2 patrons. Woot, woot.
Woo!
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks so
Yay.
much. We
Thanks,
appreciate your
y'all.
support.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to say I rolled another 7, and so the gloves have to come off, and I'm gonna, start playing dirty.
But they don't
I'm-
have to come off. You're making this choice.
You're
They could stay
choosing.
on.
Basically,
they're not
you
wrong,
choose to
Jasmine.
declare
Well, yeah, I
war.
mean, but 3 7s were rolled in the first round.
Just because you roll a 7 doesn't mean you have to do anything with it right away. But I know that you play dirty, so whatever. You do you. Be
Ooh,
dirty.
shots
That's
fired.
fine. Go ahead.
I
I just feel like it's really
It's
early.
just, this is really boring.
It's
I know.
not boring.
Fine.
Time
Project
travel.
Pegasus.
Tell us
Project
about it. I'm
Pegasus.
ready because I
But
already hate
really-
this game. So
Project Pegasus is really 2 projects Pegasus. Project Pegasuses. Project Pegasi. I'll explain.
Yes.
So, Project Pegasus was a classified CIA defense-related research and development program under DARPA, in which the U.S. defense technical community achieved time travel on behalf of the U.S. government by the late 1960s. They actually achieved, allegedly... Oh...
I'm sorry.
Man, this game is going to take even longer because all we roll are 7s.
did I mention to say how much I hate Catan?
But
That's why we
love
chose to
Catan.
do a whole podcast centered around it.
Well, look, somebody just rolled an 8, which happens to be the numbers of ways that you could time travel by the end of the 1960s. Project Pegasus was launched
God,
by the
that's
U.S.
outrageous.
government initially to perform a remote sensing in time so that reliable information about past and future events could be provided to the U.S. president, intelligence community, and military. So it wasn't originally intended to be a time travel project, but it just
was a
accidentally
communications
became...
project?
Yeah, it's complicated. But they kind of just said, oh, look, we can travel through time. How convenient. So it's expected that Project Pegasus produced approximately 140 chrononauts, which are time travelers, out of American school children through the late 1960s and 70s. And this project was brought to light by Andy D. Basiago in 2008. Now, that's Project Pegasus number 1. Project Pegasus number 2, you can find readily on the internet at projectpegasus.net. And that's Andrew Basiago's website where he, talks about this and the Mars Jump program, which we'll talk about briefly. He posts different resources of interviews that he's done and papers that he has published. So when we're talking about Project Pegasus here, we're mainly going to be talking about the CIA DARPA time travel event. But if I talk about current Project Pegasus, know that it's like the reveal of the original Project Pegasus. And that's because Andy Basiago is like, they took so much from me in this program, so I'm going to reclaim the name and use it.
So can I ask a question just for clarification for myself?
You sure can. Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes my brain... I'm sorry. Cairo just jumped up on the audio thing. Anyway, so the original Project Pegasus was the U.S. government CIA thing, but this guy just made up his own.
Yes,
it's
and
his.
So his Project Pegasus is his project of unveiling the information of the original Project Pegasus. And I'll tell you about Andy, and you'll understand why he wants everyone to know.
Okay. I'm sorry. Clarification.
No. It's, like I said when I was telling y'all this week about the amount of notes that I took, it's a little convoluted. So Andrew Basiago goes by Andy. And Andy is a writer and private practice lawyer in Washington State. He holds 5 academic degrees, including a BA in history from UCLA and a Master of Philosophy from the University of Cambridge. So he's a pretty well-educated person, and the UCLA time frame will come back into it in a little bit. What you probably don't know about Andy Basiago is that he doesn't roll sevens like Jasmine does.
I was about to say, does he roll as many 7s as we do?
It sure doesn't.
Jasmine, you haven't rolled anything but a 7 since we hit go.
I know.
I think...
And that's why I'm going to apologize in advance for what I'm about to do.
I think the problem here is Jasmine. So maybe Jasmine shouldn't be playing.
Remember, I have 0.
Nice.
I have 0 cards, so you can't take anything from me.
But I can.
Should I be looking at this live chat that is going on?
If you
What's
want to see
happening?
pictures of cats.
Oh, meow meow. Okay.
Cairo is recording with us tonight. Anyway, continue, Benjamin. I'm ready to hear about this.
Andy Basiago ran for president in 2016 as an independent.
Ooh.
Interesting.
On top of all of these things, so being well-educated, being a lawyer, being a writer, running for president, Andy also claims to be one of the first American time travelers. From 1968 through 1972, Andy alleges that he served as a child participant in Project Pegasus, working on his first program with DARPA. So, the first, not the only, the first. Andy now considers himself a leading figure in the Truth Movement, a campaign to lobby the U.S. government to disclose such controversial truths as the fact that Mars harbors life and that the U.S. has achieved quantum access to past and future events. Andy's campaign to reveal the secrets of these events has also been named Project Pegasus. So that's why we've got 2 Project Pegasi. And he said he's doing this as like a reclamation of what DARPA took from him. Can you stop rolling 7s? I'm not even through
apparently not,
the first half of my page.
That's okay. We're giving you time. But I have to go on Jasmine now.
So Andy's writings on contemporary Mars research have also been published. In these writings, he claims he was the first person to prove that Mars is an inhabited planet. Not that it supports life, but currently has inhabitants. Not the potential, but has them. And after publishing this landmark paper, he founded the Mars Anomaly Research Society, or Mars for short. So,
I like it. It's
I
so
do.
creative.
Yeah.
in all of that, I reference DARPA. Who's ever heard of DARPA?
It sounds like
I have.
Dharma, which I think
From
was
Lost.
on Lost, the Dharma Initiative, and that's what it makes me think of. So now I just am going to picture a bunch of people running around on an island.
That's exactly what
Well,
I was thinking
I mean-
of also.
We
Jasmine,
did
you
also
said you've
recently
heard of
watch
DARPA.
Lost.
Yes, I have.
Oh, I've never
But
seen Lost, by the
I
way.
unfortunately, it's good. I've only watched like the first 3 seasons of it though.
We watched
Um,
all of it recently. That's why it's also probably in our mind.
Yeah.
It was my first time watching it.
I don't know. That reference lost me. That was
Okay,
bad.
Ben.
I know.
Where's
That was
But
so
anyway,
funny.
but Jasmine, what were you saying about DARPA?
I was saying that I have heard that name before, but unfortunately I don't actually know what DARPA either stands for or does.
Well,
Besides
don't
time
worry.
travel apparently. So
Well, I'm going to tell you what DARPA does. But first, I'm out of coffee.
Oh,
Oh, that's
no.
tragic.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is very tragic.
You know what's extra tragic is
I
that
rolled another 7.
the Starbucks ice drinks, the ice melts really quickly, especially in the summertime. And so my
It really
iced caramel
does.
Serious?
macchiato is now just a caramel macchiato,
Yes.
no ice.
But I'm
That
sure
was
it's
my,
extra
my 2
watery.
cents. Yeah, it's extra watery. Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe DARPA can fund research into slow melting ice. So let me tell you
that
about
would
DARPA.
be good.
Yeah.
So-
tell us.
DARPA stands for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and they're responsible for keeping U.S. defense up to date with advancements in technology. The agency was founded by President Dwight D. Eisenhower following the 1957 Soviet launch of Sputnik. According to the DARPA website, after the launch of Sputnik, the U.S. decided that it would be, quote, the initiator and not the victim of strategic technological surprises, end quote.
But
I thought that was really
Aren't-
dramatic.
aren't we always the victim because we're the United States and we're always the
I
victim
mean-
to everything?
We're always the victim when we're the agitator at the same time.
Whoa.
Not wrong.
We're like that vine of the guy who goes, I can't believe you've done this.
I
Anyway,
miss Vine. Oh, they should
I
bring
sure
Vine
do
back.
too.
There were some good
Um,
things on Vine.
So DARPA works with innovators, both inside and outside of the government, in order to deliver revolutionary concepts and even seeming impossibilities into practical capabilities. So DARPA doesn't just deliver things like military precision weapons or crazy stealth technology. They've actually worked on projects that we use in our daily lives, such as vocal recognition, translation, global positioning systems. They built really tiny receivers that are now in every device ever. So because of DARPA's work, like you can
Unless
track
you believe in our
your
first
phone.
episode where you're a flat earth and GPS is just made up.
That's true.
Wow.
I was also prepared for you to be like, they made these little like devices and they've implanted them into all of our heads. Just
Well,
because, like, why
probably.
would that not happen? I mean, it's conspiracy theories. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But another big project that they worked on was ARPANET, which was a precursor to the internet.
Thank you,
Um,
Megan.
That's cool.
and
Yeah, no
ARPANET?
problem.
DARPA
Interesting.
DARPA is made up of like 220 government employees and 6 technical offices, including nearly 100 project managers, who together oversee about 250 research and development programs. So project managers come from academia, industry, government agencies, but they have very limited times to get projects done. So that's how DARPA seems to be able to rapid fire things out, is because contracts generally last between 3 to 5 years. So when DARPA starts a project, it's super, super fast. And we'll see that Project Pegasus lasted for about 5 years. And it wasn't until the 80s where Andy took part in his second DARPA project, but it was about the same amount of time. And so it's the deadlines for the short amount of times like fuel them to, I don't know, do their job, but whatever.
I mean, I think that's what deadlines are supposed to do, right? Encourage you to do your job or do your work.
I wonder.
I would think so.
I wonder what would have happened if DARPA was in charge of all the construction on I-35.
Can you imagine how
Ooh, good
glorious
point.
the highway
No,
would
I feel
be?
like they would just renew their contracts. Like, okay, you have 5 years to do, these 4 miles. You know what I mean? And then just renew till the end of time. So, I don't know.
Who
Is
knows?
anybody getting wheat? Is wheat just not a thing
No.
on this board?
No,
No,
that was
you're
the point
literally
of the board.
yeah. You're playing
Well, yeah,
drought.
someone
Literally.
picked
so-
rubber on CJ's 6 that has wheat. So,
Yeah, no. I
Yeah,
would
but we're
have
not rolling
I would have
sixes.
had.
Oh, we just
We
rolled.
just
yeah,
rolled
but you
two
have a
sixes
better
in a
chance
row.
of getting.
We
than a
always say
12,
that,
and
but
nobody's
again-
on the 2.
This game is a joke.
Okay.
Anyway,
At
So
least
let
it
me
wasn't a
tell
7.
you. Let me tell you an anecdote about Andy, and then we'll talk about the mechanics of how Project Pegasus worked. So, as a child, Andy's father, Raymond F. Basiago, was a special projects engineer for the Ralph M. Parsons Company, which is one of the world's leading process engineering companies and one of the U.S.'s largest defense contractors. So, he was a defense contractor, and DARPA works with contractors for the U.S. defense. And so
I see
one
the
day,
connection.
yeah. So one day, Andy's dad is just like, "Hey, yo, we're gonna go to the hardware store." So they leave. Andy's 6 years old. It's the winter of 1968, and they drive past the hardware store and out of the city and out of the county to Woodridge, New Jersey. Don't worry, they were already in New Jersey, so it's not like they went really super far, but to the Curtis Wright Corporation. And once they got there, Andy found out that his dad was volunteering him as a trainee / guinea pig for Project Pegasus. So
Ooh.
he found out.
Did he not have to
when they
consent?
He was 6, and this was also like 1968, so I don't think consent had
Oh,
been
right.
invented
I
yet.
forgot. This was like way back in the day.
Mhm.
Okay, my bad.
Also, as long
Yeah.
as the parent agreed, like, what does it matter?
Mhm.
I mean, it's still kind of like that today. Like, if your parent agrees to something when you're 6, like, you do it. But, yeah.
Basically.
So they get there, and his father goes to get military clearance, and his father had been a private in World War II. I think that was the war. He had been a private in the war. And so he gets up to the window and shows his ID, and the man in the booth salutes him and calls him Major. And so Andy's like, but you were a private, not a major. And he found out that his father was a major in the 2nd Reserve. Has anybody heard of the 2nd Reserve?
It sounds familiar. Also, sorry to derail, Jasmine has a kick timer.
Yikes.
Oh man, Jasmine's just not going to get to play this time.
Jasmine's also frozen on our
Yeah,
Discord
she's
right now.
frozen on our
Oh
Discord.
no, her internet went out.
Goodbye, interwebs.
Oh, no.
Should I text her? I'm sure she knows.
Probably.
I'm sure she does.
She's
but-
probably trying to fix it right now.
Which is funny because like she ran her internet and it said it had really great speeds.
It lied. I'm about to post a really cute picture of Cairo on the Facebook group because Cairo is helping us record tonight. So if you are on Facebook, you should go like us at Settlers of Catan't Even, and you'll see the picture of Cairo.
You also
was
get
just
more
about-
pictures of our animals on our Patreon.
Yeah.
And we have an outrageous number of pictures of our animals because this is our life. It's just our animals.
She's doing something. She's loading. One of your opponents has no network connection. Oh no.
I don't have wood. I'm sorry.
She just sent in the text group. I don't know what happened.
It.
It's published. It's in the Facebook group. It's super cute. She's so cute. I have like 5 pictures of Cairo now laying.
Hey, I got a
Out of the
notification on my
computer
phone. Oh, look. It's Cairo.
She's so cute. I love her.
Should we wait for her? Or should I continue?
What?
Oh, no. Now it's on her.
Yeah, but the kick timer
Yeah,
went
but
away.
she
so
doesn't. Yeah.
Hopefully she.
So she's at least still
Yeah.
connected to the game.
I mean-
There's just something now going on with the Discord.
I don't know.
She disconnected from Discord just now.
Dun-dun.
What's
Loud. Sorry. I played a sound for my soundboard for
I
scariness.
loved it, honestly.
It shocked
I
me.
wish
I was a little
it more
surprised.
often. So I'm eating Sprees, which I love. They're an underrated candy. But the green ones are so bad. But I'm just eating them because this box was like 90% green.
It's
But-
rough.
They taste
gotta
like
eat what you can.
sadness. Honestly.
Aw.
Red's my favorite, and there's been like 3 red in the whole box. But indeed. Here's some hard candy ASMR.
Oh my gosh. That's great. I love it.
Well,
yep, says
Jasmine has
no
a kick
network.
timer again. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. What Ben? Do you think you should continue, or should we
I don't
wait
know.
or longer?
I feel like
I
I
don't really
just-
know.
I mean, we can wait a little bit longer.
I mean, at least this is easy to cut out.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
all of
but she's
fronts.
also
Yeah,
definitely
this is
getting
cut
cut
out.
out of the
There's
game.
There's Jasmine. She's back on.
Oh, she's got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Hi.
Oh, goodbye, Jasmine.
We missed you. Oh, she's frozen again. Oh, there she is. I see her.
Jasmine, you're an AI.
She froze
She's
again.
also frozen
Give
again.
me just a second. Switch over like headphones and stuff.
Yikes. Should get that Google Fiber. I don't know. That's what we have. That's our internet.
Our
Yeah, it's
only
really
option
only
here was
down south.
Spectrum.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think everything up here
Well,
around
I
us
did not
is
mean
Spectrum.
to do that.
We don't
but I
even
did
have
it
the
anyway.
option for fiber.
And you know
I
what?
really like
I'm not afraid to say
Google
it. I
Fiber.
don't love Spectrum.
I didn't either. We went. That was at our last place. That's all we get with Spectrum. So now I was super happy that the house already had fiber.
It's nice. Our internet's pretty
Okay.
fast.
It's also like we are getting faster speeds, cheaper than what we were paying for slower speeds with Spectrum last time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that like
So
not
my
everywhere has the
audio
option for
recording
fiber
cut
yet.
off, so I'm gonna have 2 recordings.
Okay, dope.
What happened?
We'll figure it out.
I have no clue. Everything just stopped working. So
I'm sorry you're an AI.
Boo.
But now you understand my feelings, and you also don't have to keep rolling 7.
I'm an AI. It kicked me out of the game.
Yeah, you
Oh,
got
yeah,
kick
girl.
timered.
Yeah, we've done
You've
several
been
rounds.
gone.
You've been gone for a while.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Since you've been gone. You know,
Okay.
CJ's muted. I don't know if he's been saying anything.
Yeah,
I can't see anyone's
I had some
video except
coughing
for-
going on, so I muted myself.
I only thought because I had that Kelly Clarkson moment, and I thought, what's CJ thinking? And then I saw you were muted. What if Kelly Clarkson wanted to play Catan with us?
We would say
I-
yes.
As long as she has good internet.
I would. Are you kidding me?
Called out.
I'm kidding.
I would be like the happiest person in the world.
Y'all, I straight up
Okay.
didn't know that she was married to Reba McEntire's son.
So, fun
I
fact,
didn't
she
know that
filed for
either.
divorce last month.
Oh, never mind.
So false.
So we can just forget that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what,
But
Kelly?
yes,
It's
she
okay.
she did get married to Reba McEntire's stepson.
Oh, stepson,
So
that doesn't count.
They were married. They were related through marriage, which was kind of cool because Reba McEntire is Kelly Clarkson's like idol.
Her American
cool.
Idol, if you will.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
basically.
funny. Okay.
Megan's
Okay,
having
so
a lot of fun with these sound effects.
the second reserve.
Yes. Tell
so
us.
the second reserve was made up of officials and professionals, like lawyers, doctors, school principals, that were intended to rise up in the event of a land invasion during the Cold War by the Soviet army via the Soviet Navy. They were prepared for subs to just show up and for the Soviet army to walk out and be like, "What up, New Jersey?"
Ew.
So I don't know. So
Yeah,
anyway,
but that's
he was a major in this, which means he was like a lot higher than a private. So they get there, and Andy's confused, but he's 6, and like, cool, whatever, let's go in. So they go into the Curtis Wright Corporation building, and they walk into this room, and there's this giant apparatus, which is comprised of 2 large parenthesis-shaped arms that were about 8 feet tall and 10 feet apart, and there's a guy sitting next to them at a keyboard and screen console. And so the technician turns on the machine, and there's like this humming and this whirring, and little blue like squiggles, kind of like tadpoles, start jumping back and forth between the arms until it's this big bluish green gate. And his dad pulls an Aladdin, and he's like, "Do you trust me?" And Andy's like, "What?" And he says, "Do you trust me?" And they jump into this light. And Andy
Oh
says it was like this white tunnel of light, and that it was moving around them, and it was moving super quickly, but also so quick that the movement was almost imperceivable. And they went through it for like a couple seconds, and then they walked back out, and they were in Santa Fe, New Mexico, 2,000 miles away.
No, they weren't.
They were at the Los Alamos National Labs, at the office of Harold Agnew, who was one of the physicists on the Manhattan Project. They had been in New Jersey,
Interesting.
and then they were at the Manhattan Project lab. Well, it wasn't the lab where that was, but...
The way you describe the light around them, honestly, I don't know if y'all have seen this movie, but there's a movie called The Time Machine, and I'm pretty sure it's based off of the book. And it's a newer... It's newer. It's from the like
2005.
early 2000s. Yeah. And when he gets in his like time machine, that's the exact same thing. It's like the white light around him, and like it just sounds like that he like went and watched this movie and was like, "Ooh, I'm
That
gonna
sounds
talk about
like
this."
any time travel movie, to be honest. Like it's like
Yeah.
bright
I
lights,
guess.
swirl, time traveled.
I don't know.
Oh,
I like that movie though. It's a good movie. I like
Also-
it at least.
I do too. It's like, I recognize that it's not good, but it's also so good. But I'm like, so I listened to a 6-hour lecture that Andy gave. And the whole time he's talking about this, I just have the Doctor Who theme playing in my head. Just boo-doo-doo.
Yeah, that's about right. I have
So,
my little Doctor Who pops up here
oh,
in their little corner of a shelf.
I'm gonna hate myself later for eating hard candy.
Let's
So
see
they
how
show up at-
magical your editing skills are.
We'll see. I have not started episode 3 yet. So keep your fingers crossed, because I've been doing research for this. So we'll see.
CJ.
Anyway.
I did not mean to
What?
do that. I have forgot that I changed my pieces to to different. They're not just like the standard pieces. I changed what they look like, and I can't see the color because I'm already partially colorblind. And I thought I was putting that on the AI and not you because it looks like the exact same color to me. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I feel like the worst person
Wow.
in the world. And as soon as I roll a 7, I'm going to move it off of you. I feel really bad. I didn't mean to do that.
I have now been personally victimized by Katie.
I didn't mean to. I really thought because I was looking for a long time. I'm sorry.
You're
Okay.
no longer invited to play Catan't ever again.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, by the way.
You always have to be the
I'm
moderator.
afraid I'm gonna get kicked out because my connection issues. My computer this week has just been trash. So on that note, please subscribe to our Patreon to help me get an upgrade on my electronics here.
Honestly,
I appreciate it, guys.
All right.
I would
sorry.
greatly
I'm sorry,
appreciate it
Ben.
as well.
I'm
no,
ready
it's
to hear
fine.
more about. I'm sorry. This
Yeah.
is my fault because I was like the time machine, the movie, and the things, and okay. I'm ready to hear more.
So, the Los Alamos National Labs is also where the Tesla papers, which are models and drawings and written papers by Nikola Tesla that were seized after his death.
Oh.
Ooh.
So, the portal that they went through was a Tesla portal. Yeah, a Tesla
That's cool.
teleporter. And so, what had happened was the CIA had taken the Tesla papers and they took them to Los Alamos. And at Los Alamos, the Harold Agnew and other physicists that worked on the Manhattan Project were like, cool, let's look at all of Tesla's stuff. And they found a model for the teleporter that Tesla just called an energetic array, and they built it. And it's this machine. And the story goes that as they were building it, and they didn't know what it did, as they were building it, one of the contractors who was working on it stepped through the portal to go to the other side to grab a screwdriver and disappeared. So everybody
Oh,
else
crap.
thought, he got vaporized. He gone. He did.
Bye.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine?
What did they think was actually gonna happen?
They had no clue. But also, like,
I would have been so scared.
workplace safety, y'all. Like, OSHA, don't.
I hope like his family got a payout or something.
I don't know about y'all, but if there was a giant blue light in my office and somebody was like, hey, walk through that and get a screwdriver, I wouldn't do it.
I'd be like, no, I'm cool.
Mhm.
I'd probably say no, and that might be the day I quit.
Yeah.
So they lost this dude, but they finished building the gate. They were all sad, whatever. Nobody turned it on again because we don't want to get zapped. 6 weeks later, he shows back up at the lab. And he says, y'all, I walked through that and immediately woke up in Africa. And the natives around me thought I was a god. And it took me 3 weeks to get them to understand that I was just a regular guy and needed to come home.
What?
This
Oh
honestly
my
just sounds like a Doctor
goodness.
Who show. But also
Mhm.
so did they build a time machine or like a dimension machine? Like not dimension, but like space machine, I guess. Because it sounds
We'll
more
get
like
to that.
so like they're traveling in space rather than in time. Sorry.
It's, again, them becoming a time travel project was fully on accident. When he went
That's
through
true.
it,
Can you just imagine?
it was just a teleporter. He just went from point A to point B. So because of that, they realized what it was, so they built a second one. And they built it at the Curtiss Wright Corporation. And they realized when they did that, it tethered them together and they could go in between.
Oh, wow.
So
Well,
they
that's
start
cool.
testing the gates or the teleporters, and they go to test these teleporters, which are now connected, and they first have 3 full-grown men in the Navy who volunteer to be the test subjects. And they go into the portal, and Andy's dad and the other people in DARPA who were working on it had built the tunnel between the 2 portals too long. And so these 3 men went into this tunnel and suffocated, because being in this time travel tunnel is like a vacuum. And so it took them too long to get from point A to point B, and they died.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Are they-
poor
Go
unfortunate
ahead.
souls.
Are they actually dead? Like, do they have obituaries and like are they?
Girl, Andy didn't
Like-
tell me that. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. I asked too many questions. It's because
No, you're fair. It's just know that I'm relaying to you stories that were allegedly relayed to a man when he was 6.
okay. See,
So
and
There
there's-
might be something lost in translation.
A little
a
bit.
lot of things are lost in translation when it comes to 6-year-olds. So
Mhm.
that's okay. I'm sorry. I'll stop asking questions.
No, please ask questions, because I will hopefully have more answers and not just say I don't know. So they thought, well, great. We had these 3 full-grown, red-blooded American men die. What do? We know these things work because poor old contractor walked through it. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Walked through it and ended up in Africa, so we know it works. What do? So, get ready, y'all.
Always
The U.S. government
I'm ready.
decided that
Oh, Lord.
they were going to then use Latin American street urchin orphan children as their test
Oh
subjects.
my goodness.
Sounds like America.
This is right on par with the rest of this country's history.
And so Andy's
Okay.
telling this in interviews and in lectures, and in this one particular lecture I'm listening to, and he says, now, I recognize that is at best a moral gray area. It's not a gray area, but okay. And the way that the U.S. government justified it is they didn't just go snatch these children. They went to the children's governments and purchased them. And he cited a couple
That
different
is-
countries. He said
Oh
Mexico
my
and
goodness, of
Bolivia
course.
and Chile, which that's all over South America, so okay. But they went to these countries and purchased these street urchin children and told their governments and the children, if you survive, we'll adopt you into a nice American family so you'll be able to have a better life than living on the streets.
And this is all coming from Andy. Right?
Now,
And
Andy
this is-
says the silver lining is none of the kids got hurt and they all got adopted into nice families.
I would
But
hope
the way
that
that-
was true.
I would hope that was true, but
Well,
what
if
I'm
this is
thinking
true, I
is
hope
Know that I
that's the
trust
story.
that.
if I'm the dad and I'm telling Andy this story, I'm certainly not going to tell my 6-year-old that these kids died in horrible ways. And they have,
I mean, that's
they have
true.
instances of accidents happening where terrible things happen in portals. There was one instance where somebody hecked up while portaling, and Andy watched their body teleport somewhere, and their feet from the ankles down teleport somewhere else.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
that's no bueno.
So, no. So, I am more apt to think that if this truly happened, they probably didn't all.
Yeah.
But Andy says
Perhaps.
that they did, and he likes to believe that, and he thinks that there is a group of people, now they would be between the ages of like 55 and 65, that are American citizens that were born in Latin America that were street urchin children that were purchased by the U.S. But they're all doing Gucci now. So, he wanted to stress that they're the first true heroes of time travel and teleportation, and he wants to recognize them. In the very next breath, he says, "But I was the first American child."
Said like a true American.
Yeah.
And he says, like, when you listen to him talk, everything is really, like, matter of fact and a little monotone, kind of boring. The way he says things sounds really believable because it's so nonchalant. And, like, I'm just telling you a story about when I grew up. So I'm listening to him and there were moments I was like, this sounds like a real story. And the moments, where, like, we bought street urchin children, then I thought, oh, I hope to God this isn't real. And then other moments where I was like, oh, this definitely doesn't sound real, but we'll get to that. So he and his dad traveling from New Jersey to Santa Fe, he was the first American child to teleport. So there were other reasons why they used children, because like I said, there were 140 of them, all American school-age children. And we'll go into that when we talk about the other kinds of technologies. So these Tesla teleporters that they ended up using for time travel were one of 8 different time travel techniques that were established and proven to work by 1970. So it's 2020.
How were they proven? I'm sorry, I might be jumping the gun. I'm just curious if you found out how they were proven.
Because DARPA said that they were, and the CIA said they were.
I mean, I guess that's valid. All right, continue. I'll take it.
Remember, this is a little bit of a conspiracy theory.
That's right, but it's more fun to pretend it's real and find out where the holes are.
Well, this is true. There are quite a few of them. So let's walk through the different technologies. So, like I had said originally, this wasn't supposed to be a time travel experiment. It was supposed to be more of this new age, using your mind, gathering information. It's not super clear how it was supposed to work before it turned into a time travel experiment. The first technology was called remote viewing. And so these 140 kids were picked because they were gifted, they were talented, and they supposedly possessed like paranormal abilities. They were psychically linked. They thought they were indigo children. It was just, they were special kids. And so remote viewing was like a form of lucid dreaming, where they put these kids into trance-like states, and in these trance-like states, they were able to project themselves to gather information spiritually. So one of the instances was he and his whole class, which they were broken up, there was 140 of them, and they were broken up into 14 teams of 10. And each team was named after a different color, and each team had a captain. And of course, he was the captain of his team, and he was Team Blue. So he is the captain of Blue Team, and then another girl on his team were both successful in remote viewing when they were looking for Senator John McCain when he was a POW. And so he claims that he and this female student were able to lucid dream and find his location 3 or 4 years before they actually freed him from this POW camp. And he says this, and I thought, if they found him, then why didn't they just go get him?
That's what I was about to say. If they actually found him, like, why would they leave him there for several more years? Anyway.
I don't know. And he said it, he made it sound like they could see an idea of where he was. Like he was in this jungle and they could see his cell and they could see him, but they didn't know where on a map that was. But that the information that they were able to glean from remote viewing was able to help them actually find him. The next technology was called spinning. You literally spin. So you move in a clockwise rotation 33 times while looking up.
Oh, wow.
Should I try this right now?
What? Yeah, do it.
Yes.
I mean,
do it, Jasmine. Let's see what happens.
Can you remind me why 33 is important?
Because that's how old Jesus was when he died.
And what do we
And
know about
Freemasons.
33? Yeah. What did the
And-
Freemasons think about 33?
It was the perfect number.
So apparently,
And
go ahead.
No, nothing. I've got nothing.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you spin clockwise 33 rotations while looking up. And after the 33rd rotation, you astral project from your body.
Okay. I'm gonna take my headphones off, and you guys are gonna watch me do this.
Oh no.
Well, good luck. Oh my gosh.
And then I'll come back and I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
Okay.
What if you get lost in astral
Proceed.
projector world?
Well, we'll just deal. I don't know. Okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
All right.
While Jasmine tries this, let me tell y'all what Andy found when he astral projected. He was able to leave his body, and go to the edge of the universe. And at the edge of the universe, there was a bright light, and he hit it, and he couldn't go any farther. Let's see if Jasmine sees this bright light.
I kind of feel like she should be moving faster.
Probably. I feel like time travel should always
I mean,
be a
we
quick
don't know
thing.
what's going to happen.
Well, you're not wrong.
I mean, she'll probably get dizzy and just like fall. But hopefully not hurt herself.
I was like, this is going to get real awkward when she falls and busts her head open and no one can get inside because social distancing.
Yeah.
And
at least
also,
I live
our
down the
camera
street
doesn't
from
work.
her.
So,
Guess it's
Oh.
on you.
yep.
Yeah. I'll just call 911 and run over there.
Try explaining that, though, as to what happened.
So we were talking about astral projecting, and then she passed out. So
Then they're going to search you for like drugs and things that, you know.
the only
Hopefully you
drug that
don't
I
have.
am on is the blood of Christ.
Oh.
That's not true. I'm also
CJ's
on
about to win
caffeine, which is a
again.
drug.
No, I'm not.
You have 13 points. Don't we need 14?
Mhm.
Oh my god,
I
y'all.
know.
I have so
Maybe.
much still to talk about.
We'll get to it. We're ready.
Well,
No,
Well, I
CJ won,
can't.
too late.
Jasmine is astral projecting.
Well, you
I
can
may
continue
have just
and
won.
we can see if
so-
she projects.
Also, we can do points and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's
I am halfway through
yeah,
my
projecting.
stuff, if that means
Okay.
anything.
That's completely fine. Nobody ever said that we have to time the actual topic with the game.
All right. So, I'm going to walk through this. CJ won. So, congrats.
Hey,
Thanks.
CJ.
Yay. He won without largest army and without longest road.
Dang, son.
He actually won with the least amount of roads.
I'm a beast.
Yeah. And then it was Katie with 12 points, and she held longest road.
Woo!
Dang.
With 11 roads. And then it was me and Jazzy AI, who got 7 points. And that is the story.
Can you see how many, will you tell us how many sevens we rolled total?
Yes,
Oh, that is
11.
Nice.
But you rolled
There were-
18
How many
sixes.
came from Jasmine?
Jasmine had 3.
What?
Um,
Not
Yeah,
bad.
I rolled
basically
the
after
most
you
sevens. I rolled 5.
Yeah,
Megan.
after
Wow.
you turned into an AI, like it stopped rolling sevens because
Oh, classic.
But
I
there
feel
we
like
go.
that game was
the
really
game.
fast.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
It's usually longer when we're all in it.
Jasmine,
The whole time.
did you see anything?
Did you astral project?
Honestly, no, I didn't.
Oh, damn. I was really hoping you were going to say what I had told them while you weren't listening. So, when Andy astral project, so he was basically in the nurse's office of his elementary school, which was filled with students who were chrononauts. His school nurse was also a CIA Army nurse, because of course, why wouldn't she be?
Right.
And so he projects himself while she's basically taking care of his body. And he comes back and she asks what he saw. And he says that he projected himself and he was able to get to the edge of the universe and there was this bright light and he hit it and he couldn't go any farther. And he says, the nurse nonchalantly says, "Oh, so you found the Matrix."
What?
What?
She knows.
All I saw was that there was this like streak of light. And honestly, it could have just been because I was spinning around 33 times.
I don't
And
know. You may have just
I'm
seen the
not
Matrix.
sure, like I felt like I was falling, but I know for a fact that I wasn't moving. And then I ended up leaning up against the bar here, and I still felt like I was falling. But I very clearly could not move because there was something holding me up.
You astral projected
Huh.
all the way to the Matrix. So the nurse tells him
my
nonchalantly that other people have reached the Matrix and that it's proof that we're inside a giant hologram.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Real quick before we continue, are we done recording? Are we gonna play another game? I mean, I'm fine with stopping and just keeping the one game and then chit-chatting about time travel and
I'm
this.
on page 4 of my notes, and I have 7 pages of actual notes, if that means anything.
could this be part 2 of the show?
Just kidding, I have 6 pages of actual notes.
No, I don't think we should do a part 2. I think we should just keep going and see
Yeah.
what happens. I mean, a lot of this time is going to get
Okay.
cut out anyway because we had the
Yeah.
troubleshooting at the beginning and stuff.
I don't.
Right.
I don't think we need a second game. I think that we should just listen to you tell us about time travel.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Same.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
Go for it.
So,
Then.
the third mode of time travel is the Montauk chair. Has anybody heard of that?
No.
I had actually heard about it before, but only vaguely. Katie and Megan, are you all still here? Oh,
We
yeah,
are.
you're-
I have not heard
You were
of
at the bottom
I've
of
been-
my page, so I didn't see you.
Oh, I've been really good at muting my mic tonight, so that I don't know. I've just been really good at muting my mic. I don't know why I thought that was important to tell you, but that's what I'm doing.
I will appreciate it later, especially when I'm mad at myself for eating sprees into the microphone this whole time. Have y'all heard me crunch a lot?
Nope.
I haven't.
It was only whenever you were like rummaging with the box earlier
Yeah.
that I really heard it.
Or when
But,
I was
you know,
like...
yeah.
Well, yeah, that
Okay,
you can
cool.
hear.
But,
But not
you know
while
how
I'm eating
you
it.
keep saying that you're disappointed that you're doing this, yet you continue to do it.
Sometimes you just have to disappoint yourself.
Me
Just live
every
with your
day.
life choices.
Me every day. Okay, so a Montauk
Anyway.
chair is a big recumbent chair, kind of like a dental chair. It's made up of the chair, and then there's like this hubcap type canister in the back of the chair that is holding a solenoid, and the solenoid it causes transduction through the solar plexus third chakra, which manages time, and that moves you mentally and physically into the future to live a moment, and it boosts your consciousness forward. So up until this point, it's like remote viewing and spinning are really to like glean information that you can't see in front of you. And that's what the Montauk chair was supposed to do for the future, but then it actually physically propels you forward. So you're in the chair, you've fully left your body, you move into the future, and when you're in the future, you're in your own shoes. It's not you viewing, it's you are there. You are partaking in that moment. And there's a whole other conspiracy
Interesting.
theory about the Montauk girls, and it's a series of young girls that were experimented on with Montauk chairs and pushed forward and some crazy stuff. And you're like hooked up with diodes all over you, and you've got like a cotton mask on so you can't see out of your eyes. And then like updated versions of the Montauk chair actually have a television screen so that people can view what you're viewing. And in the Montauk experiments, there was a screen, but it wasn't viewable by the room, only by one person operating it, and they would psychically drive you. They would basically tell you what to do, and they would propel you in a certain direction. So now we've moved into time travel, and they're like, oh, cool. We can do a lot more than figure out what's going on right now. We can figure out what's going on in the future, and hopefully the past. There's the Tesla teleporter, which we talked about a little bit ago. It's a lot like teleporting in Star Trek. And I already told you about the time that the feet left the body. So it was pretty dangerous. So the teleporter originally was just for going between spaces. But Andy found out later that going through the teleporter, if it was set a certain way, could propel you backwards or forwards in time by up to 2.5 years. And he found this because one time they went through the teleporter and he said, Andy, what year is it? And he was like, Dad, that's a stupid question. It's 1969. And the guy who was running the teleporter was like, oh, it's fully 1971. Ah! And apparently for a long time, his dad would leave to go to the hardware store and would teleport himself 2 years into the past and work on things for 2 years and then come home by teleporting forward in time. So he's living 2 years of his life at a time. And
What?
just out in New Mexico while his family was in New Jersey.
And it's like a larger scale of Hermione going back to take classes at Hogwarts
Yes.
with the time turner.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I suppose, but still, oh my gosh.
Another form of time travel is chronovision. And chronovision it originated as recordings. It's almost like seeing a live stream of things happening in the past, but on 16 millimeter film. And it developed into, instead of just this television monitor, into a giant crystal array that would form large holograms. And these large holograms would come down. And if you got caught in the hologram, you transported back in time to that moment. And so what they would do is they would bring up holograms and have the children experience what's going on. And then they would use a Tesla teleporter to get them out. Because if you go into a hologram, the only way out is if somebody comes to get you with a teleportation portal. Otherwise, you're stuck.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
And so they used the chronovision to see the signing of the Declaration of Independence, to watch the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. Both of those were on 16 millimeter film. To go back to the Civil War, to go to Arizona 100 million BC to watch dinosaurs eat grass. There was one time that Andy went through a hologram and he ended up in the 1800s in the Netherlands. And then there was a time that he was transported to the Five Points neighborhood in New York in 1905 and had to live in a tenement for 3 days. All through just a TV screen or a hologram.
I want to ask a question, but I don't even know what to ask. Where's his proof?
I'm baffled. I'm intrigued. I think that I myself am proof. If they're saying that's what the Matrix looks like,
So
I can be on board with everything else.
Chronovision has its own history, but it originally was founded by 2 Vatican musicologists. And
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say Corona Vision?
Chronovision.
Chrono.
Chrono, as in chronological vision.
Okay.
So Chronovision started by these musicologists at the Vatican who were experimenting in trying to hear things in the past. And they teamed up with a guy who was like, oh, I'll stick a TV on it and then we'll watch it. And then it somehow turned into you teleport through a hologram. And it was with an advanced chronovisor that Andy and some of his classmates teleported into the year 2013. Now, mind you, he is saying this in a lecture that was recorded just before the 2016 presidential election. So he says, and they traveled to the year 2013 to the Supreme Court building but they are all 100 feet underwater. And that the
Why?
Supreme Court building is 100 feet underwater. And
What,
so people
2013?
in 2013. And so people in the room are like, what? So he says, I'm sure you're wondering, because obviously in 2013, the Supreme Court was not under 100 feet of water.
Is he trying to say that in the timeline that he was in, 2012 actually happened?
Yes. He says that the timeline that he saw of the Supreme Court was the original timeline that he was in, but that sometime after this, when he was going between New Jersey and New Mexico, there was a problem with the Tesla teleporter, and it malfunctioned and it shot him into a different timeline.
Oh man, like they got the time stone from Infinity War / Avengers.
This
Oh my god.
I suppose.
sounds...
But that also, again, could be why things are so messed up right now. They did not return it.
So they went as far forward.
Captain Dunn messed up.
They went as far forward as the year 2045. And they consistently, I say consistently, on more than one occasion, they went to 2045. And they were sent to this glass building, which was a repository full of film canisters. And what they were doing is they were picking up these film canisters and bringing them back to 1970, 1972. And these film canisters were encrypted data that the U.S. government would then use to let their past selves know what had happened. So they were bringing back, this is what's going to happen at
Tidbits
this
of
time.
future.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Is this how The Simpsons is writing their show?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Okay, now,
My mind is just blown right now.
we still have 2 more forms of time travel.
Whew.
Woo.
I'm on board with this whole thing, honestly.
I'm a liar. That didn't happen with advanced chronovision.
Nah.
Hey,
All of that
again,
happened with the next form, which was a Stargate. I'm the worst. Pretend everything I just said didn't happen. Okay, so the next form...
You could edit that.
The next form of time travel was the Stargate. And he says that it's this black gate that takes up from floor to ceiling of an Olympic-sized gymnasium. So this giant black gate, but at the bottom of the gate, there's this tiny little portal that looks just like a Tesla portal. And they go through that, and that took them to the repository. And hopefully I can cut it and make that sound like I said it in the correct order. And he claimed that the Stargate was an example of the CIA taking classified terms and feeding it to mainstream entertainment to fuel science fiction to make these stories seem unbelievable. The CIA invented the Stargate show so people would think Stargates weren't real.
Well, I mean, that sounds believable, I guess, if you believe in all of this anyway. So why not?
It is the year 2020. Does anything really shock you right now?
The answer is no.
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 Nope.
If the government were to come out and be like, we did this, it's true, I'd be like, okay, 2020, come at me.
I mean, they're releasing like UFO information and alien information right now. So
Well-
this is right. This that you're talking about, Ben, is right on par with literally everything else this year.
Well, we're working with aliens, so... But
Obviously.
we'll get to that. And then the last one were plasma confinement chambers. The last form of time travel are plasma confinement chambers. And they are large rooms that he says are half the size of a tennis court. And I thought that's a really weird way to measure a room, but okay. So it's half the size of a tennis court, and it's filled with radioactive plasma. And you walk into the radioactive plasma, and at a certain point, the ground gives way like a trap door, and it shoots you through a wormhole. And his dad had him use the plasma confinement chamber to go back to see the Gettysburg Address.
That's cool.
Not only did he go back to see the Gettysburg Address, he tells this very long, boring story about how he's getting all these details from Gettysburg that mainstream historians didn't know, so he could prove that he went back in time. But there's a really famous photo by Joseph E. Cobb of the Gettysburg Address, and there's some kids in the foreground of it. And there's one in the front left foreground that's kind of blurry, wearing a Union Bugle Boy outfit, and he claims that's him. That DARPA had all of these period pieces of clothing and dressed him up like a Bugle Boy and sent him back in time so nobody would be like, you're wearing a weird outfit. So.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, okay.
So he used
it
that
is what it is.
to go to the Gettysburg Address. He also used that to go to the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. At that time, he would have been about 8 years old. So they sent an 8-year-old to go watch a president get assassinated. Why?
Oh my
For
gosh.
fun.
I
I
don't-
don't know.
I don't think any parent would let that happen, nor like with 8-year-olds, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Apparently Raymond
But,
Basiago
I mean,
did.
this guy's parent.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't want to do it himself, so why not send your kid?
That poor kid's
Well-
gonna need so much like social emotional learning. Dang.
The dad couldn't go because they had all those, they had issue. Okay. So they found out by using those street urchin Latin American children that people could survive this. But they continued to use children because children were less disruptive to the timeline. And if they were using technology like chronovision, adult footsteps or voices would disturb the hologram and could possibly cause time to collapse. But children were small enough and light enough and quiet enough that they weren't destructive to time.
Obviously, they have not met my
I
students.
know. I'm like,
That's what I was
They're
thinking.
not
pretty loud.
quiet. But maybe children were quieter in the 60s and 70s. They might have been. I don't know. I wasn't alive then, so I couldn't tell you.
So he went to Gettysburg. He saw Lincoln get assassinated. On the chronovision, he claims he saw the crucifixion of Jesus. Now, what do y'all think Jesus looked like?
Well, if I were to
Tall, long beard, probably like this dark skinned man.
If I had to guess, he
I
was
don't know.
white.
if I was going to go based on
Oh my
what
gosh.
modern society says, he was a tall white man with dark brown hair. But I would assume because he is from the Middle East that he looks like my people and he is dark with dark hair, and I would think that he was actually Arabic because he was from that area of the world, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I also did not see him, so I don't know.
Well, Andy says the reason that you always see pictures of white Jesus is because he's white. That Jesus was a skinny, 5'10" tall, Caucasian man with brown hair, a dark brown beard, brown eyes. But then he says he looked Mediterranean, which Mediterranean is Caucasian, but I'm thinking like white dude.
So technically, people in the Middle East, like when we're technically Caucasian, like we're white. Like technically, like if you were to fill out paperwork today, like typically the ethnicity you would say Caucasian or white, non-Hispanic. So, I mean, there are lighter skinned people from the Middle East. I'm not saying that Jesus was white, but there are lighter skinned people. It is a thing. I mean, look at me.
Andy Basiago says that if you watch the History Channel program The Face of Jesus, that's the most highly accurate reconstruction of Jesus' face.
Again, I mean, I didn't see him, so who am I to say he doesn't look like that?
I mean,
I didn't go.
if
No one
it's-
asked me to time travel.
Well, you and I both know that if it's on the History Channel, it's true. And that's why we
Obviously.
always watch every episode of Ancient Aliens.
I love it. Maybe Ancient Aliens will sponsor us.
Oh my goodness, I would love that so much. We have to do Ancient Alien
They could be
episodes.
like- They could be guests on our show. I would love it. So
I
I
would
love
too.
it.
And then we can talk about their alien friends.
They're so wonderful. It's a great show. If you don't watch that, you should watch that show. It's great. Anyway, let's continue.
So Andy says, in the portion of his lecture where Andy tries to prove that these things happened, he talks about the things from the future that he was able to see. They accurately predicted Watergate and Nixon's resignation. They were able to time travel and view the AIDS epidemic, although all they knew was that it was a sexually transmitted disease that would kill you. They didn't know anything else. They knew about the invention
Interesting.
of the internet. They knew about the identity of future presidents, Jimmy Carter, H.W. Bush, Clinton, George Bush, Obama, and also Andy Basiago. And then they knew about 9/11. Well, if they knew about AIDS and 9/11 and future presidents, why didn't they stop 3 of the worst things that have ever happened?
So, like, this is a common thing that comes up in a lot of, like, time travel theories. It's like, if you know it's going to happen, like, why don't you stop it? And it's like, well, it's a course that has to play out. I mean, I'm going to keep bringing up Doctor Who because that's the most thing that I've watched with a lot of time travel. Like, there's that episode where they get stuck in the room with Hitler, with River, and they're about to kill Hitler, and the doctor's like, no, you can't kill Hitler. Like, it has to play out this way. Like, it absolutely has to play out this way. If you don't do this, then there's going to be more repercussions and stuff like that. Like, in theory, that's always the reason why. Not saying it's right, and that those things probably should have been stopped, but that's just the theory.
If it was also like...
But
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, if
the
it's also
same-
like the Time Machine movie, the one that I talked about earlier, because apparently that's the only thing I know about time travel is that movie, is that if it's going to happen, regardless of what you do, it's always going to happen. Because like in that movie, he would like travel back because his fiance died and he tried to go back to save her. And every single time he did that, she still died. So like,
Spoilers.
I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry.
On a movie from 2005.
About the movie or you?
No, the movie. But what about you, CJ? What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, how do we really know it? Like, it's supposed to happen that way. How do we know somebody else didn't time travel and mess it up?
Well, because
And they're supposed to fix it. Or, like, how do we also know, like, if you stop it, like, a better outcome in our world would blossom because you stopped that?
So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, usually it's because they've visited all the other times that they can do it, and there's still not a better outcome. But that's again, usually like in pop culture, that's what I have seen have been the way outs. Now, this is not pop culture. This is supposedly real life. So I don't know if Ben has something else.
Andy claims that the U.S. government decided that they ethically should not interfere with things that have happened and will happen. And that they find the information from the future and use it to form contingency plans for when things happen instead of using it to be proactive to stop them from happening. So that's why
Sounds about
there
right.
are
I mean,
certain conspiracies around
look at where we're at.
9/11 and people who were supposed to be on planes that weren't, because that information was leaked to them because the CIA knew about 9/11. He also, in all the stories he tells, he focuses on this really well-known restaurant in Albuquerque, and that's where all the DARPA people would eat and hang out. And he says in that restaurant, that's where he met Carter, both Bushes, and Clinton, all when they were really young, because they all knew their whole lives because DARPA told them that they were going to become president. And they said that George W. Bush, learning that he was going to become president at a young age, is what drove him to substance abuse before he was president, because he was stressed out about becoming president.
I don't blame him. I would also be stressed out if I knew I was becoming president. I'm stressed out anyway.
Same.
And I'm just me.
Yeah. I get stressed out cooking bacon. Like, let's be real.
I get really stressed out cooking bacon. I'm not even lying.
Yeah.
Like
I don't even understand.
I had like a complete meltdown one day because I burnt bacon. So
Oh my gosh.
It's true. Like, everything had to halt and stop.
the whole world ended.
Caro literally just came in and slammed the door open
That scared me. I was really
and then
shocked.
ran to her room like we were going to follow her. Sorry.
Sounds like Cairo.
Anyway,
I've got 3 more things. We'll be done.
I'm ready.
So, if 140 children took part in Project Pegasus, why is Andy the only one speaking up, and why did he not come out until 2008?
Because
They all
everyone
died.
was scared or dead or forgot. They had like the thing from Men in Black, you know, where they flash it and you forget everything that happened. The government has that and they flashed everyone.
You're on the right track. So,
No, I'm not.
yes. But
Shut up.
it's not as clean as that. So, when he has been questioned in the past about why is he the only one coming forward about Project Pegasus and why is he one of the only few people who remember, because there have been a couple other people who have come out and said, no, I was part of this in the years from 2008 to now while this has been going on. But why was he the first? And he claims that it's all because of mind control. And that the CIA was attempting to bury these memories in the participants through the use of torture. In 1972, at the end of his involvement in Project Pegasus, Andy claims he was subjected to torture where long needles were inserted into his spine for 4 hours while they had him recount everything that he ever did in the program. These needles would then trigger... Oh, yes. These needles then triggered intense headaches that were then used as gates to block these memories. So what was supposed to happen... Have you ever seen A Clockwork Orange? Do you know the scene where
No.
they have Alex's eyes pried open and he's watching all these horrible things happen on television screens to like break him and desensitize him?
That happens in Lost.
Well,
It does happen in Lost.
again, that reference is lost on me because I've never seen it.
Well, your reference was lost on me, so I'm just telling you how I can
That's fair.
relate to that because I've seen it somewhere else because this is a very common form of torture.
I didn't know until very recently that there's time travel on the show Lost.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, probably because you've never even watched.
Yeah,
the
but it was
show.
such a cultural phenomenon. Like, surely I would know the show's about time traveling and not about people who just get lost.
Well,
Anyway,
Yeah, no, Lost has lots of different things, and you might not even consider it time travel if you watch the show.
well, now I might need to
It's on Hulu.
know.
It's on
good.
Hulu.
Anyway,
So
we could do a whole show on Lost.
the end goal was to have people not be able to recall the information. As they tried to will their brain to think about the things that happened, they were to experience searing, crippling migraines. But Andy was able to work past the pain and unlock all of his memories. He claims that other participants, and there have been a couple people now who have come forward, William Stillings is one of them, who's just a guy who was in it, come forward to say that they've been a part of Project Pegasus and a part of other DARPA projects. And one of the people, he says, who remembers being a part of a DARPA project is President Barack Obama. Mind you, he said this right before the 2016 elections. But I digress. Let's talk about his presidential campaign. So
I'm ready for it. Is it as good as Tiger King's presidential campaign?
Wait, did he run for president or just governor?
Oh, I thought he was running for president at one point too.
I don't know. I don't remember
I
that
think-
whole time of
did Andy run for president because he saw that he was gonna become president, or did he just run for president?
I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
So in 2016, he ran it as an independent, although most of his ideals are progressive, if you believe that time travel should be used commercially. In interviews, he swore that he was going to win a presidential election between 2016 and 2028 because during the 1980s, he was part of the Mars Jump program, which we'll talk about very briefly at the end. And President Barack Obama was part of the Mars Jump program. And there was a time when one of his classmates was mouthing off to his dad, and his dad was basically like, oh, you should just be so grateful to be in this class with a future president, referring to Barack Obama. And then Andy's dad, Raymond, said, you mean 2 presidents. Apparently, Raymond has gone to a future where Andy is president between 2016 and 2028.
But are you sure that he was referring to Andy?
That's the question.
As the second person.
That's the question. And so Andy says that he talked to his father on it a couple occasions. And they talked again towards the end of his father's life, the late 80s. I think he died in 1990. So it was right before his death. And he was able to gather from a conversation with his dad that he is either going to be the vice president or the president of the United States before 2028. And that his dad has seen that he's going to be the president or the vice president. So, I mean, for all we
indeed.
know...
What if Biden announces next week that he is the VP?
Literally what I was about to say. The real-time travelers who are our listeners who are hearing this in the future will know if we're going to have a Biden Basiago ticket. Can you imagine?
I would be so...
No, I cannot imagine.
Speechless.
But It would be
so
amazing.
speechless if that's what happened.
No, Biden is supposed to pick a woman. He's already said he's going to do it, and Andy is not a woman.
Yeah, but haven't you heard anything about politics? People just say stuff to get you to vote for them.
Yikes.
Come on, Trump.
Anyway, so how does somebody who's been a CIA time-traveling child run for president? Like, what's on their platform? And his platform was all about implementing Tesla's technology for commercial travel, be it through teleportation or time travel. And he stood very firmly on these technologies were created with American tax dollars, so Americans should get to use them. He said, imagine a world in which one could jump through Grand Central Teleport in New York City, travel through a vortal tunnel in the time-space continuum, and emerge several seconds later at Union Teleport in Los Angeles. Such a world has been possible since 1968, when teleportation was first achieved by DARPA's Project Pegasus. When my quest, Project Pegasus, succeeds, such a world will emerge, and human beings linked globally via teleportation will proclaim the time-space age has begun. His whole platform was built around how traffic is going to end the economy. No joke. Straight up. He said, and he cited some statistics where if you expand a highway by one lane, it takes 32 days for that lane to become just as backed up as the rest of the highway. I don't know if that's true. I didn't fact check him, but I was like, okay, well, again, you're sounding like you know what you're talking about. But he says, how can you have a fully functioning economy when people can't get to work, they can't get to school, they can't get to the hospital, they can't get to the grocery store because they're stuck in traffic? By golly, we should let them teleport.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I mean, maybe
But also, I just don't feel like people would be on board with that, because then you don't need planes, you don't need trains, you don't need gas because you're not driving anywhere, really. Like, and all these big wigs that are, got all of their investments in those industries are essentially not profiting. So for those reasons, I don't think he would be elected with that platform.
Now,
I don't know.
All of that to say, when I was watching him give this presentation, remember the presentation was right before, it was in the middle of 2015. It was right before the 2016 presidential elections. And they asked, how do you know that you're going to win the presidency? Because in this moment, he said, no, I'm going to win 2016. Spoiler alert.
Lol. Spoiler,
Yeah.
no one won that we thought would win.
Well,
Exactly.
No one won. Everybody was the loser. But I digress. He said that his father had seen that in 2015, there was going to be a giant political scandal where over 300 members of Senate were going to be outed as CIA agents who owned foreign bank accounts. And because of this upheaval, there was going to be so much discourse surrounding the party system that he, as an independent, fully funding his own campaign, was going to be both. At that time, he didn't know who the Republican candidate was going to be, and Hillary Clinton. He was going to beat the parties because the American people were going to be outraged to find out that 300 members of Senate were actually CIA agents who had been planted in the Senate.
I think 300 Senate members are actually reptilian humanoids.
I think I'm more apt to believe that there's 300.
I believe that too.
Yeah, I think I would be more apt to believe 300 reptilians than 300 CIA agents. Because, like, if you have 300 CIA agents not doing anything, sitting in Senate, how are they going to do
Not
all
doing
of the other
anything in
CIA
Senate.
stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
But what if the 300 CIA agents are actually the reptilians? And so all of our CIA agents are actually reptilian humanoids who are time traveling to just really mess up the world.
And what if...
I want to start my own conspiracy.
Do it. What if the CIA is actually the Illuminati? That's what the I stands for.
They are. Ooh. I mean, it probably is true. You're not...
And
yeah.
I mean, it's intelligence, not Illuminati. But one can dream. So, we know,
That's what they say.
as people in the year 2020, that in this current timeline, he did not win the presidency in 2016. Now, who's to say He didn't jump to another timeline. Who's to say that that video wasn't recorded in another timeline? I haven't seen him trying to run for 2020, so that means he's got to run again in 2024 or 2028 to make this work. So who knows? Maybe that's part of why it is taking Biden so long, because he's trying to get America to come to terms with everything that's happening. So him being like, oh, yo, my vice president is a time traveler, everybody would be like, you know what, that's fine.
Maybe
I'd be fine
Kanye
with
West is actually Andy.
Yeah.
Because he did try to run.
For like 2 seconds.
I mean, hey, he tried though.
Or
More than I can say.
maybe we never really hear about who's running as an independent till like the last minute, and then people who hate both the Republican and Democratic candidates will just vote independent because they don't want to vote for the other two. So maybe he actually will be on the 2020 ballot. We just don't know yet because it's not election day. Because I never know who's independent, like running as independent until it's time for election.
To be fair, when he
Same.
ran in 2016 as an independent, he ran as a write-in candidate.
Oh.
There's the
Okay.
problem.
Yeah.
There's the problem.
Mm-hmm. So
I think 2020 is his year.
it could
Crazier
be.
things have happened this year.
But you know what? If it isn't his year, he can just go back in time and make it his year.
So not only is this dude like believing that he's a time traveler, but he also still expects that everything should be given to him because he's seen the future. Man, he sounds such like
He
no
doesn't.
offense to you guys.
Well,
He sounds like such a white guy.
I mean, he is a white guy. The way he phrases it doesn't sound like I deserve this. It's more of a matter of fact of I'm going to take these steps that will get me here, and I know they will. It was.
Well,
He
I
said-
know they will. Therefore, I deserve to have it
I
done.
guess. If you listen to him talk, he sounds. This is going to sound crazy. He sounds more reasonable than that, where he realizes that certain things have to happen to reach these outcomes. But I can see what you're saying.
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, at least he realizes that things have to happen. But I feel like if you expect to win the presidency by being the write-in candidate in what is the United States of America, where we can't even vote for a third-party person, like, that's not going to happen.
Well, but remember, it was because the CIA was supposed to be in Senate and everybody was going to hate America.
Well, that's true.
And
You're
that
right.
wasn't
Yeah.
the political scandal
So.
at that time.
Well, we're here now.
So,
But the reptilians,
Was he saying like that was the only reason he thought that was supposed to happen specifically in 2016?
in 2015, it was
This-
specifically supposed to happen in
sorry,
2015, and that would
Okay, gotcha.
that would pave the way for him to win as an independent.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. I thought he was saying like that would be the event that caused, and it didn't matter what year, but it's specifically 2015. So no.
Sorry, I have to plug in my computer. I'm about to die. I have just like one more paragraph to talk about. Okay. That's really the end of everything about Project Pegasus. But I wanted to mention he had talked about working on a DARPA program with President Obama. And I'm just going to throw this out here and see if anybody wants us to go fully in depth and do another episode on the Mars Jump program. Because he claims that in the 80s, when he was an undergraduate at UCLA, that he and his compatriot William Stillings worked with President Obama, who was 19, and Regina Dugan, who was the first ever appointed director of DARPA on the Mars Jump program.
Ooh.
And Regina was the director of DARPA in 2009 to 2012. So she was appointed by Barack Obama because they worked on this program together. But that when they worked on this program together, his name wasn't Barack Obama. He went by Barry Soetoro.
Ooh, so different name.
Yeah, this plug I'm plugged into.
Ew.
And we're like highway to the danger zone. I'm at 5%. Oh my God.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no.
did you find a plug?
No. We're going to do this real fast.
What?
Because I'm right here at the end. So Andy claims that Obama promised via a mediary that after he was president, he was going to come out and say that he remembered being a part of these Mars missions and he remembered Project Pegasus. But as of this recording, President Obama has not done that.
He's yet
to do that.
Goodness.
I'm confused because the
Sounds
light
good.
on my power cable is green, but my computer says it's not charging. Oh, now it's charging. So
Yeah, it takes a second sometimes. Man,
So if
what
y'all
is
are-
it like having a power cable that has a light on it? Sorry, mine doesn't, and it hasn't. And I'm just like, that would be so nice.
I love
Sorry.
it. I love it so much. So if anybody's interested and want to hear about the Mars Jump program, which features aliens, teenagers on Mars, and Andy publishing paper on his first interaction proving that Mars isn't just inhabitable, but that he's hung out with aliens there, let us know, because I'll do that episode.
Tweet us at Catan't Pod.
I want this episode that you're talking about, the Mars jump. So I would be on board, but let's leave it to the fans if they want to hear about it. Tweet us, comment on our YouTube channel, comment on our Instagram posts.
Let us know.
Let us know about the Mars Jump program. So that's it. That's all I got, unless y'all have any questions.
Whoa.
See, I told y'all
So
it was
all
a
of this
lot.
like originated from like Tesla's like plans for portals.
And Andy
Basically.
stresses that we as a society have reverse engineered alien technology, and that the friendly grays that we work with have gifted us technology, but that time travel is exclusively a human invention, and that Tesla really should be celebrated because Tesla invented time travel, and we gave that to aliens after everything aliens gave to us.
Interesting.
And he
Okay.
also claimed
wow.
that there's
Poor Tesla.
that there are people who have a conspiracy theory that Tesla is an alien. He used the term conspiracy. He was like, there's this conspiracy theory that Nikola Tesla was an alien. And he goes, and you know what? He wasn't. He was a normal dude.
You know, this whole like time travel thing, I don't think I believe in it. But if the government were to come out and be like, yo, this is actually real and here's all the proof, I'd be like, that's cool. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not opposed to time travel. I'm not opposed to all these things. I need more like solid evidence, like physical evidence that proves it actually has happened.
Yeah, no, I get you.
If he could provide something.
I get that.
I'm not opposed to it though. Like all of these conspiracies we've talked about so far, I'm not really opposed to any of them. If anything were to actually happen, I'd just be like, okay, that's fine. I can get used to it.
It would be like the rest of 2020. We just say, okay, cool. What do we do with this information now? Where do we go from here? Will you not kill us? That'd be great.
Right.
If you're ever bored and you
I don't
have
think-
3 hours to kill in the resources for this episode is a link to a 2-part lecture where the first 3 hours is him talking about Project Pegasus and the second 3 hours is him talking about the Mars Jump program. It's really interesting to listen to him talk, and it's interesting because he's so boring. He's so nonchalant and so just like, I can't describe
This
it
is what
because
happened.
I read these things and I was like, this dude is a full-on wackadoo. And then I listened to him and I was like, okay, Andy, like, you're making this believable.
Okay.
Oh, Ryan agrees. I don't know if
Well,
you heard
I
him.
mean,
Yeah.
I
I
believe
did. I heard
if
He
him.
agrees.
He's a
time
little
travel
cutie.
stuff.
What'd you say, CJ?
I believe some of this time travel stuff.
Yeah. I think I could be on board.
Well, you already went to the
Again,
Matrix, Jasmine.
I mean, no, I know, and that like solidified like why I'm more like, no, these things make sense.
These
Again,
things
I just
are
need some more
weird.
That's just
proof
my
out in the
opinion.
world.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
For me, I see it. I don't know.
But no,
I think you're all wackadoo.
I agree that I would.
Thanks,
I
Katie.
would like more solid evidence if this is real. More solid evidence. I'd like any solid evidence if this is real.
What I need is Obama to confirm.
You know,
And I think that would do it for
if
me.
good old
He has my trust and my faith. And if he was just like, yo, your podcast on point, it's all true, I would be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for confirming. That's what I needed.
if good old Barry Soetoro came to Twitter and was like, "Hey yo, I've been to Mars. Here's a picture of me with my Mars homie," I'd be like, "All right, that's cool. We Gucci."
Yes.
So, all right. Well, hopefully that was enough time travel for Mariana.
I hope so.
But-
Yeah.
Thank you again for suggesting
Yeah.
this topic because
And honestly,
oh man, am I a believer.
there's so much. And, you know, if there's anything else about time travel specifically you want to hear about, Mariana or anyone else, just let us know and I'll do another time travel episode. I'm fine with that.
I want you to do an episode that talks about some people who claim they are time travelers and like the evidence that they have, like the photo evidence that they have and different things that they bring back with them. I think that'd be really interesting.
That was my original intention for this episode. And I was watching this YouTube video and it was like top 10 real time travelers. And number 10 was Andy Basiago. And I listened to like the 2 seconds about him and I thought, hold up. And I immediately went over to projectpegasus.net and started reading. And I said, nope, this is it. This is what I got to do.
Yes.
But
I love
yeah,
that.
no, I think like a survey of like real time travelers would be a good episode.
Yes. I completely agree with that idea.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we should wrap it up here and head over to our after show.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Maegan.
I have 2 sprees left, so and they're both purple. So I'm gonna have to go do something else.
Cute.
Anyway.
So before we wrap it up, let me just plug our Patreon real quick. We have a Patreon if you want to show your support and help us keep doing this podcast thing. There are 4 tiers that all include access to our wonderful Discord, where we do the live show every Thursday night at around 7:30. You can hear us troubleshoot all our wonderful audio before you get to hear it here. And you also get a shout out on the podcast, like you heard at the beginning. And there's also credits in the YouTube video at the end. After the podcast, we chit-chat about the next episode and more, which we release to the supporters that choose the Captain, Knight, or Settler tiers for the Patreon. So like I said, there is a live show option, and that will only come with the Captain and Knights tier, though. Again, I want to say thank you to all our patrons, and to hear the after show and previous after shows, go to patreon.com/CatantPod and become at least a settler. Thanks everyone for listening. Make sure to like, heart, star, favorite, and leave us a review wherever you can. Don't forget, you can also watch the game we played on our YouTube page, Settlers of Catan't Even. Now, let's go around this virtual table and talk about where you can find us. Katie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Katie11318.
And Ben?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at bfelts91 or on my website at benjaminfelts.com.
And Ben is super talented and super awesome and made our music for the podcast.
Thanks.
Jasmine.
Thanks, Ben. You can find me on Instagram at princessjasmine14 and on Twitter _Snoop Jazzy Jazz.
And CJ, where can we find you at?
Everybody can find me on Instagram at ClevengerCJ.
And finally, you can find me at Maegan Wilson _ on the Twitters and the Instagrams. It's linked in the show notes because my name is super hard to spell. Thanks again, everyone. And we will be back soon with more Catan and conversation.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See ya!